This is the weekly governance call for TAN. It is July 31st. Yeah, so last week we kind of went over basically what do we need to do on a technical basis to fork and do the airdrop. Just want to go over the previous week's vote. So did the revote, and which came in 20 people for the 60-40 split, and then 32 for the 80-20 split. So the 80-20 went out there. And I think something that maybe later in the meeting after the technical talk, we can have a discussion about if we want to keep doing governance votes, if we want to keep having governance votes in Discord, or move to something like Discourse. And the reason behind that is just that Discord really is very extremely easy to make bots, and voting isn't really secure. But we'll go with this. I think just to keep moving forward. So one second, my vacuum's making so I think it's finished now. Okay. So I think I want to go over if maybe, we have Garrett here. So, Garrett, just some of our questions were, is the current implementation of TAN decentralized essentially with the multi coordinators? And I guess when we looked at the code, it looked like it was, granted, just Tangle Pay had running a single coordinator. So the decentralized coordinator wasn't implemented yet. So, I know Bill Poster and Gigolo, they've been really looking at the code, and maybe they could have some want to discuss it if they have any questions. Bill Poster, do you want to give a recap of where you guys stand now?
Yeah, thanks. Basically the biggest question has been if you guys, Garrett, your team, I hear that you have a coordinator running, and the biggest question has been indeed if it was the centralized one or it is running on the tender coup library, so the multiple validator integration. That was just, one of the question. And if you have running the centralized one, one question was also which hardware requirements those machines have.
Right.
Yeah. Let me check. Actually, for this question, I asked our dev. So basically, when the TAM private network starts, each node has a default coordinator. I just reading what our dev sent to me. Each node has a default coordinator, but it's not in standard code. But we haven't tried it, but theoretically it should be replaceable. So, which I understand it means we can make it decentralized, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, it did look like it looked like so. Yeah, go ahead.
And the Shimmer that, from my understanding, we were going to for Shimmer, like Shimmer was running decentralized coordinators before it got shut down. Was it running the tender co, or was it running something different? Do you know, Garrett?
For this, I'm not sure. Does anyone know? So, but we can check.
Yeah,
I can check with our dev. Yeah.
That would be great.
Theoretically, it's a copy paste of IOTA. So theoretically, again, it used the same system as IOTA. So I don't think it's something completely different, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
No. Only the integration of the coordinator has been different, and I think the Shimmer also had a testnet, and my guess is that this testnet run the inks validator, which is again different from the tender coup approach, and I think the standard Shimmer network was running on the tender coup, but this is just a guess. Would be great when someone can approve this.
Yeah, let me just type this into Shimmer IOTA. How were the networks running with distributed coordinators or not? If so, was distributed coordinators through the tender co. And Garrett, I think that's what we're really interested in is, okay, I remember the IF saying the IOTA mainnet was you running the distributed coordinators. They may not have been, but I think the good question is, were both networks running distributed coordinators? If so, were they using TenderCo, or were they using something else? Was TenderCo sort of the Shimmer testing one, and maybe there was a more legit one that adopted, or because I know this whole vision was to fork Shimmer in the aspect that it was decentralized, not running a coordinator. That was my understanding. So that'd be great to know. One, what was Shimmer and the Tangle running on using a committee of coordinators, and then two, can we integrate that into the TAN network and then test that before the airdrop?
Yeah. Okay, so I will get this confirmed and come back to the group. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Integrating the committee prior to the airdrop. Awesome. Well, great. One second. Great, because I think that's really the last hurdle technical wise. And that would be another question of, we understand that there's coordinators and distributed coordinators, and then nodes, and nodes can clearly run on a very low hardware. But for the coordinators that are in the committee, what kind of hardware does that need to be to run smoothly? I remember bandwidth is one key thing, that it has high bandwidth. I believe the hard drive has to be large enough that is going to hold a snapshot. So if your team could kind of give us hardware specs that, let's say if we had 5 coordinators running, and we've talked about calling them validators, creating a validator committee. Coordinator just seems a little centralized, but anyways, if we had 5 coordinators, 5 validators running, what kind of hardware does those pieces of equipment need to be? One second, honey, I'm talking. And then another question would be, that came up to mind over the last week, is permanodes. So, I know that the IF ran a permanode, and I believe some others ran a permanode, but, especially on the node basis, there was snapshotting, so your node wouldn't get bloated with the database. But does each validator or coordinator in the committee have to be a full permanode, or can they snapshot? And then, do we also need to make sure we're running a permanode so that, we basically do have a record of all transactions from the initial mint?
Okay. So basically the question is, so if we want to decentralize, like what kind of hardwares do we need for that?
Okay. How do we, fully decentralize? And then, is there code to run are you guys running a permanode? Are you, do you have already a record of the database from the initial mint from TAN? And then do you plan to continue running that permanode? And it'd be good that we have at least, I would say, 2 or 3 to offer redundancy, but certainly open to discussion on that.
Exactly. If you want to run, or at least when we want to go live, then we need, of course, the what is it called? Genesis snapshot? I don't know exactly, but this one. And what we share on Twitter, I think, is just some Excel spreadsheet, I guess, with some addresses. Some real snapshot which can be used by the coordinator. or validate or whatever away from keyboard.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're just finishing up line alpha, the technical questions, which we basically have. We're going to verify one, how Shimmer and IOTA was running their decentralized validators coordinator committee, and if that's simply Tenderco implementation, then one, were they running that on the IOTA mainnet and Shimmer? Two, can we run that Tenderco if that is, or if there's something else to decentralize the TAN network with a committee of validators, coordinators? Can we do that, implement that, and test it?
JD, would you, is this already written down somewhere so that I can also
Yes,
kind of,
it will be in the Notion page.
perfect.
So
Yeah.
I can certainly send you some notes on all this.
Yeah, that will be helpful. Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, then we'll can we integrate that into the current TAN? Can we test that to make sure it works properly before we do the airdrop? And
That
then
would be
the
better,
other,
actually,
what's that?
to proceed with the testing phase before actual airdrop or publicization of TAM. It would be the safest approach.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I would think so. I would hope people want to test that integration first and make sure.
Yeah, like on private remote network, not a local one, just to be sure. I mean, if I understand correctly, Garrett tested it on a local network as part of his private angle. So I think it would be better to step it up a little bit and test the actual decentralization, as we discussed with Jiggle, if I spelled the name correctly. Sorry.
Jiggle. Yeah, no, it's Jiggle.
Yeah.
No, we will definitely do some testing before going live. And then and also then the questions came up as in, what hardware requirements are needed for a smooth working network at this phase for the validators, coordinators, and then also do we have code for permanodes? And I know that the IF and other people were always running a permanode, so that basically then we'll always have a copy back to the Genesis. I'm not sure where in the code snapshotting occurs, but I know that they snapshot because of the the hard drive memory bloat. But we're going to need, one or two people always maintaining
The connectivity.
because I can't remember. I don't think you can piece snapshots together, if I remember correctly. Like you can't take.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you just have to have that one, permanode copy. So anyways, so yeah, Garrett will look into those questions and get back to us from his team. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. We're just finishing up that. So if there's any other questions for Garrett or any questions for his team to look into, we can, before we move on to the next thing.
Not yet from me, but there probably will be.
Sure. As we get more answers, more questions.
We can go through the list first. Yeah.
Yeah. And earlier in the meeting, we just went over the vote, which was, again, majority of people for 80% Shimmer holders, 20% IOTA holders for the airdrop for the distribution. So that will confirm that, and I'll put that in the Notion page, as well as under the, what do we call it? The plan of action that's been approved by the governance. Yeah, I'm trying to think, what was the other thing I want to talk about? So that will be good to, now that we know, one, how that distribution can go, aside from the technical side, we can take that spreadsheet, and I know that Saphir was going to work on that spreadsheet once we came up with the numbers to then actually show tangibly what people will get, what they're going to get. With the spreadsheets, we can use that, and then people